Hirschi event. This is actually Hangin with high school. This is awesome. We are the next several months going to be highlighting each building in the district. So tonight is high school night. We know we have a lot of people that will watch this video at home, so we appreciate you chiming in. Over the last few years, have had an opportunity to really evaluate, kind of look at the high school and see what work we're doing. Phenomenal things. I've been a part of several school districts, and I'll tell you what we're doing at the high school is phenomenal. It's really head and shoulders above a lot of other things that other districts are doing. Our leadership, our teaching staff, our support staff's phenomenal. So we're excited today to highlight some of the wonderful areas. There may be questions as we get going, but I know they have a lot to share. So without further ado, and I get a little break from talking the whole meeting at Hangin with Hirschi, we're going to invite Dr. Suter up to kick off the show.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hirschi. Oh, thank you. So, yeah, thanks for coming tonight. So we're going to talk to you about several different things tonight. But first, I'm going to kind of pre-introduce everybody who's speaking tonight rather than introduce them when they come up. So Brian Moeller, he is not going to be speaking tonight. He's behind the scenes and kind of making everything go. So, which he usually is and does a great job at that. Paige Cyrus is our student success advisor, and Paige works with students and parents on a pathway to college and career education. And we've had Paige for about 3 years now. And you most recently kind of saw the news with DESE and expanding the program around Missouri, and a lot of that is attributed to work Paige does every day at the high school. Joe McKinney is new to the district. We hired 2 social workers based on our strategic plan, and we have Joe located at the high school, and he also works at the middle school. So Joe's going to tell you a little bit about social emotional health. Jen Nichols and Molly Martin are our counselors. And they have really been able to focus on their job of counseling while also helping onboard Joe and getting him involved with student social emotional care, and also helping Paige with college and career pathways, while also doing all the things it takes to run a school with credit checks and working with kids on what classes they're taking and just the day-to-day operations. And then Nicole Harrell is our full-time instructional coach, also came out of the strategic plan for every building to have a full-time instructional coach. So Nicole is started out as a teacher in our building about 11 years ago and is now our full-time instructional coach. So first we're going to talk about the why behind education, and sometimes you can come to your job every day and you get in the grind of your day and you forget about the why. Why do we have schools? Why are we in education? What are we trying to do to help these kids succeed? And I like this quote. It said, "Education is not just another issue. It is the most powerful force for accelerating economic growth, reducing poverty, and lifting middle-class living standards. Well-educated adults earn much more, live longer, and are happier than poorly educated adults." So we want kids to be happy, healthy adults who contribute to individual growth and economic growth. So as we thought about, down the road, this vision, how are we going to get kids to that, being happy and healthy adults, well-educated adults? And what are the barriers that keep our kids from getting there? And as we looked at different barriers, there are a lot of barriers we can't control, and there are barriers we can control. But the main thing that stuck out to us, the biggest gap in achieving this vision, is mindset. So just a kid's mindset about what their potential is, what they're able to do, and how much they're able to succeed in life. So we really developed our goal around this vision and this gap. So our goal for this year was to empower students and teachers to embrace a growth mindset. This isn't just about kids. Yes, kids struggle with the growth mindset. Some of that's because of the system that's created in education about just checking the box and kind of moving to the next step, and not really focused on learning all the time. And that can sound weird in education, but it's just a product of the system. And a lot of time, the product of the system we all grew up in. So teachers and administrators, we can have fixed mindsets, and that holds us back. That holds our schools back. So we got to focus on ourselves, the adults in the building too, to have a growth mindset because we're all learners and we're all moving forward in that process. So to tell you a little bit more about that, I'm going to have our instructional coach, Nicole Harrell.
All right, hello. What happened? What did I do? We're going to fix this, and I'm going to start talking about the lead measures. Okay, here we go. So, while we try to get back to that slide, here we go. So our goal, again, is to empower teachers and students to have a growth mindset. And so we developed some lead measures to ensure that we are continuing to work toward this goal for the entire year. So here are our lead measures. So number one, 100% of classes will have a pre and post test for each unit by May of 2022. So we consistently have post tests for every unit in our classes. That's something that we've had, but we have not consistently had pre-tests in all of our classes. So we want to make sure that we are also implementing pre-tests so that students can see their growth. To have that growth mindset, students have to be able to see what they're learning and how they're growing in each class. So we feel like that's really important. It's something that we're working on doing. So during our professional development days, that's some of the things that teachers are doing as they are working on creating those pre-tests, making sure those pre-tests align with the post-tests so that we can look at that data and students can see that data as well. Second growth measure, 100% of classes will have learning targets for each unit by May of 2022. So learning targets are those targets that we would like students to reach by the end of a unit, and those targets are aligned to each lesson. We like to word those in terms of I can statements. So I can explain what the theme is of a certain text, might be a learning target. We are making sure that we have learning targets for each lesson and each unit so that we are consistently making sure that we are aligning our lessons and our units to those state standards. Number three is 100% of classes will be tracking student growth by May of 2022. So that comes from the pre and post tests. So through the pre-test and the post-test data, we're able to monitor that student growth. Again, we want to make sure that we are making sure that students see that growth, that we are conveying that growth to the students. So it's not necessarily about the grade as much as it is how much the student grew from the pre-test to the post-test. And number four is 100% of classes will be implementing weekly literacy strategies by May of 2022. So we really feel like it's important that the only place students are seeing that English classes aren't the only place that students are reading and writing on a regular basis. We want to make sure that's happening in classes across the board. So in math class, students are reading, writing, and discussing. In science classes, students are reading, writing, and discussing. In all of their classes, this is something that we want to make sure that we are providing students with the opportunity to read, write, discuss, and think. And we feel like this is really going to help our students and our staff really develop that growth mindset as well. All right, I'm going to hand it off to the counselors.
Hi, we are going to talk about college and career readiness and opportunities, and Ms. Martin and I are going to talk about the social media aspect, which came about as part of the strategic plan. And then Ms. Cyrus is going to come up in a little bit and talk about her portion. But the first thing, and probably what we consider to be maybe the most important, because it's kind of a one-stop shop for all the information, is Instagram. We've actually got highlights where we save some of the important information from our stories. You can see past post videos. The information's all there in the caption. So this is the place to go to see all of it. Also, stories that only last 24 hours of just important things going on at the time. If you follow us, it's RSHS Counselors _ and you'll find information about upcoming college and military rep visits, ACT deadlines, study information, scholarship deadlines, financial aid, like the Fafsa, career exploration opportunities from the high school, local jobs that are hiring. We've had a few local places send us information and flyers and ask us to help get that out for students. And sometimes we're funny. Not always, but sometimes. And like I said, this is the only place where we're allowed to do the highlights. Those are like bookmarks. You can go back and revisit those anytime and they never go away. So far, we've posted about our college door decorating contest, just so you can see how all the first hour classes were able to research colleges and represent that. Financial aid, just FAFSA information from their Instagram and different accounts that we've collected and saved like a bookmark. And then daily affirmations, just positive messages that students can click through and read as they want to.
So as Jen said, our goal was to really just reach everybody. So we know that our students are on Instagram a lot. And so we decided that we were going to take social media a step further. So we also have a Facebook page, RSHS Counselors. It's going to be the same information that you see on Instagram, just in the Facebook format. We also have a Twitter account at RSHS Counselors _. You're going to see a little bit edited of the information since we are limited on characters. But again, just another subsection of kids that are specifically using Twitter. And then we also have a TikTok, which is what we're most excited about. It allows us to kind of showcase our personality and then get information out to kids once again in just a different, fun way. And they're on TikTok, so we want them to see that information. And so really our goal was to just get that information out in as many ways as possible, hoping that they'll see one or all four and remember, oh, Jury's coming to visit or Mizzou's coming to visit, and then that starts a conversation at home if they're looking at Instagram on home as well.
Our goals, sometimes social media kind of gets a bad rap, but our goals are to make it a positive thing, to get all that information out. We want it to be everywhere. We're sending messages in Canvas, we're sending emails, but sometimes people don't check those as often as they should, or it can get lost in a sea of emails. But we want it, so both of those places, all the social media platforms, we just want to make sure we're doing everything we can to get consistent information out to students, parents, the community. We are already doing a lot of great things, and we just want to show that off for everybody, show the opportunities we're providing, and then continue to expand on those and share that information as well. And even though we don't have a ton of followers yet, we already have, I think, 4 college accounts that follow us back. And so really that's a positive also, because those colleges are seeing the experiences our students are having and how we're preparing them and helping them decide. And they're actually interacting and liking our posts and seeing those things. So the hope is one day when students apply there, they're going to know what type of school those students are coming from, and it's just going to be an additional benefit in that way. And this is an example actually from today. We posted and Central Methodist University liked our post. It didn't even have to do with college, it was something community, but they are paying attention and they are interacting with us.
So we thought social media was a great idea, but the people that we're really trying to reach are the kids. So Jen and I sat down with some students and just kind of picked their brain and asked them, what are some of the benefits of the RSHS counselors having a Twitter and an Instagram? Are we doing this for nothing? Help us, figure out how we can be better. And here's some of the things they said. Instagram reaches more people. Students don't check Canvas consistently because it isn't on their phone. So that's something that was interesting to us. Another student said they didn't realize we had so many college rep visits, and they only saw the people who came at lunch, which are typically the Marines, the military, the Navy. And they even didn't realize that out-of-state schools are coming. So some of our kids were super limited to just Missouri schools because they had no idea that they could talk to a rep from Kansas or Arkansas or even Iowa. A lot of kids like that the information is all in one place and they can refer back to it at any time. It's easily shareable with others, so they can take a quick screenshot and send it to their parents about college rep visits or scholarship opportunities. And last, they check Canvas during the school day, but Instagram helps me remember information when I get home. So once again, just being able to start that conversation with a parent or guardian about different rep visits that are coming or scholarships, talking about the ACT, but just really giving students an opportunity to remember the good things that we're doing and sharing that with their parents as well.
Okay, and then the last for our part is how can you help? How can you help us grow our social media, get the attention of more colleges, more community members, more opportunity for our student? And you can actually do that by following all of the accounts, like, comment, share. The more interaction we get, the more followers we have, the more these platforms are going to put our information out for everyone to see. So that's the biggest way that you can help, just to help benefit our students. And Paige is going to come up and talk about what she does.
So this is my third year at Reed Spring. I'm kind of here as a collaboration between the RUDED and OTC. It's a grant-funded position. And when you hear Student Success Advisor, it's not always self-explanatory, but my favorite explanation had to be right after we went into lockdown, a student was trying to get a hold of me and sent Jen an email saying, who's that college lady that all the seniors have to talk to? So that's now my personal title, and I really wanted to put that in my email signature, but my boss at OTC said that probably wouldn't be very professional. But I do feel that really that sums up my position quite well, because I do talk to the seniors all the time. I talk to them at least 4 times a year. Whether they're going to college, whether they're interested in military or workforce, I make sure that they have their entire plans fleshed out. So that in the fall, or whenever they're planning to go through with their plans, that they get there. I also communicate with parents by phone, email, and in person. It's very important to me that parents know what's going on with their students. And so I'm very good with all of the college jargon and financial aid and ACT and all of those things, and I feel like being in my 5th year total as an advisor, I can do a pretty good job of clearing up those very confusing things that the college world, has. My basic job, besides just working with students all day, to flesh that out and what that looks like, I assist with college applications, helping kids do scholarships, doing the Fafsa, financial aid, helping the students find their college fit, which means the school or college that is best for them, has what they want, they meet the admissions criteria, things like that. I help them with the ACT, both registering for it, and I help proctor the exam and help them study for it. And I follow through with their plans. I also help connect students with college reps, military recruiters, and career exploration. So that's a new thing that I did this year, was took over the planning of college rep visits. And we have college reps from everywhere. We actually had 2 different colleges from Chicago that will be here this week. We had University of Chicago on Tuesday, and we're having Columbia College Chicago on Friday. We have had reps everywhere. It's really cool. Our students are seeing colleges that they've never even heard of before, so that exposure is really important. I am constantly doing fun events and just college awareness, so we've started redecorating the hallway that's by the counseling office with different college posters and upcoming college events. We have a new calendar that has a list of all of the college events going on, like our rep visits, when the FAFSA opens, important deadlines, things like that. So it's in the students' view pretty much at all time. So we had college application week in September. I went into Mr. Rance and Miss Polson and Miss Raven's English classes, the senior classes, for 2 days, and all the students did were college applications. So if they had a college in mind, they sat down and did it. If they needed a little help coming up with a college to apply to, at least just to get one done, we did an application to OTC because it's very simple and it's free, just so they can get that experience of what it's like to do a college application. We did the door decoration contest, as the counselors mentioned. You can see that on our Instagram. I gave them a few facts that they needed to put on there, and they had just free reign on decorating it how they wanted to. We had 14 different classes participate, and it was very awesome. We had a 4-way tie for first, actually. We do college t-shirt Thursdays, so at the beginning of the school year, I sent out an email to 504 colleges, and I asked them, hey, we are a small rural high school. We really need help. Our students don't know about your college. Can you please send me swag? and I have gotten an overwhelming amount of response, and I have been able to keep 41 college t-shirts for myself. So every single day I will wear a college t-shirt. I just finished going through all, wearing every shirt one time, but now the staff is involved and students are repping their gear on Thursdays as well, which is pretty cool. Fafsa Frenzy, the Fafsa opened on October 1st. It is probably the hardest thing that parents have to do for their student to go to college. It's dealing with taxes and money, and it's very confusing. I can do one in 6 minutes. I do about 500 Fafsas a year. It is no big deal. Like, if you need your Fafsa done, come to me. We had one on October 1st, I think it was October 1st, and we did 26 Fafsas that day, which is incredible. And we have done even more since then. I'm going to show you some data in a second. In May, we will have Decision Day, which it's going to be the last slide, so I'll go back for a second and I'll highlight it. Thank you. Decision Day is May 1st, when the students come out with what their college choice is, and we'll have all sorts of prizes to get them started on their college journey. We have a college tour scheduled to Mizzou on December 2nd, and I'm working on getting tour coordinated with various other colleges. The goal is 4 this year, and I love handing out free stuff. We give the seniors free stuff all the time. My office is decorated with 155 pennants now. It's quite excessive, but I love it. It's my favorite. And so it's a really great conversation point for students when they pop into my office, or even parents, and they're like, I've never even heard of this college before. And like I said, we're working on keeping our student calendars updated with events. So I'm doing things all the time. I'm working with students constantly, all day, every day, and sometimes it's kind of hard to keep up with what's going on, but we do have data points that I have to track. So I know that this seems like a lot, but this is a snapshot of my data from working with the class of 2021. So out of the 112 seniors that graduated last year, I worked with 87 of them. There is a mistake. I had 100% of meetings in the first semester overall. That second little box there, it is 100%. That was a glitch with Republic's data. But you can see I met with every student 100% of the time, which means at least once, average of 3.5 times basically in first semester and in second semester. 90% of the senior class completed at least one college application, and everybody got an acceptance, which is pretty cool. 90% is a big number. It's one of my top numbers that I've had in my 4 years. Of the seniors who, let's see, where is it? Oh, it's not up here, is it? It's on the next one. Confirmed post-secondary plans, I had 95%. So of the seniors, like on graduation day, told me that they had a plan. By the end of the summer, 95% of them kept with that plan. So I was able to confirm their secondary plans and follow through with it in the summer. Overall, I met with 89% of our parents of the senior class, and Fafsa completion was at 97% of my college-going seniors did a Fafsa, and that was 80% of the entire senior class. So you can go to my next slide. Just to give you an idea of where I'm at right now, I've already met with 100% of seniors. I actually got that done the last week of September. 63 of our seniors right now have applied to college. 48 have been accepted to at least one school. This morning, my Fafsa completion was at 25% of the entire senior class, and this is huge because the Fafsa has only been open for 20 days. But since I pulled that number, 4 more students have done a Fafsa, so that should be 27% completion. We don't have any award letters yet. That'll be in the spring. 45% of our seniors have taken at least one ACT. I've met with 35% of the parents of the senior class. We've got 53% of seniors who right now are on track to qualify for A+, and 1/3 of our seniors have been on at least one college tour. So this senior class is really awesome, really excited. Because we had so much success with my first Fafsa Frenzy, I am going to be hosting another Fafsa Frenzy on Monday during parent-teacher conferences, 1 to 7 in the high school library. So if you're watching and you have not finished a Fafsa yet, please come see me. I can get it done in 6 minutes, I promise. I'm turn it over to Joe.
Man, Paige is a tough act to follow. A lot of awesome information and stats and numbers. I don't have any stats and numbers to wow you or blow you away, but Paige is rocking it. So for me, I've heard this phrase probably not this phrase, but the phrase that I'm going to say to you, I don't know how many times since I began working at the Reed Springs School District, and we're so excited to have you here. I've heard that from tons of people. Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you do? What can you do? What do we want you to do? And there's a lot of uncertainty about that. But I think this kind of mission statement for me as a social worker kind of highlights, and just from a 30,000 foot view, gives an example of kind of my role here at the school. And it says that we as Reed Springs School social workers, and there are 2 of us, are dedicated to the district's educational mission by providing services that strengthen home, school, and community partnerships that support the emotional and physical needs of students and their families. College is awesome. Growth mindset is awesome. But sometimes there may be barriers that get in the way of us embracing a growth mindset. And so that's kind of where I come in, is what are some of those barriers? What are those barriers to learning? Is it, yeah, you can go. Is it trauma? Is it anxiety? Is it depression? Some of these mental health issues that we're all well aware of and have been made more known of over the past year and a half or 2 since we've been in the middle of a pandemic. It's definitely heightened our awareness, and we've seen some of the impacts in the school system, and kids are dealing with it on a daily basis. So this is kind of the list of services that myself and the other social worker will offer. If you want to do the next slide, it'll kind of highlight the areas where I'm presently involved and working and doing things, and that is the list on the left, and I'm assuming that's the same for you. The yellow list is things that we would like to be doing at some point. So I found myself working with students and their families, doing kind of counseling and therapy, some formal therapy sessions. I'm a licensed social worker, master social worker in the state of Missouri, so I can practice psychotherapy. And I love doing that. It's kind of where my heart is, but that's not all I'm going to be doing. Also be collaborating with Burrell, who is in our school system and is such an awesome resource to get mental health needs as well. And so I'm collaborating and working with, as well as the counselors, with the Burrell school-based specialists and clinicians that are here on campus to meet kids' needs so that they can be freed up to go to class and do what they need to be doing in class, listening, learning, paying attention, doing their work, all of that good stuff, right? So another area is crisis prevention and intervention, which is where myself and the counselors have found ourselves probably more frequently than we would like. Not that we don't mind, but it's just sad. Kids are dealing with a lot, and we've had several situations over the past few weeks of kids coming in with suicidal ideation, and that's very real, and it's scary. And for you as parents, it's more scary for you than it is anyone, because the last thing a parent would want to do is lose a kid. And so that's a place where I found myself, and I would love to meet with kids as they deal with some of the hardest things that they've experienced and are trying to process and work through that. So crisis prevention and intervention. So along with the Fafsa Frenzy coming up on Monday, we're also going to be doing some SOS, Signs of Suicide training, which is the suicide prevention program that the school is ascribed to. And we'll be offering 2 of those on Monday as well for parents. And it'll be right here in the auditorium, or you can view it online at some point in the near future. So that'll be coming as well. Staff training and development. I'm working with Ms. Harrell as far as like helping teachers get their emotional needs met, so teachers can be freed up to focus on and care for and love on students in the way that they want to, the thing that probably motivated them to become a teacher. And sometimes their own just anxieties can get in the way. And so we're working on creating some space during those PD days to help teachers just process through some of the things that they deal with on a daily basis. We're excited about that. We're in the brainstorming session. It's still early, but it's going to be good stuff. Parent education and training, that actually should be on, actually no, because the Signs of Suicide training falls under the parent education and training category, and that is why it is on the left side of the list. So that's one aspect of offering education to you as parents, so that you can know how to respond to your kids' needs in that moment of crisis, because sometimes we can just find ourselves lost and helpless, and maybe we get frustrated because we're lost and helpless and are angry towards our kid because, oh, here they are again dealing with this. And so educating you on how can you respond compassionately and curiously so that those kids' needs can get met. Safe schools, climate and prevention programming. So trying to just create a space where kids can come and learn. So working on bullying issues and the suicide, and just creating an atmosphere so kids were got to hopefully at some point in the future a wellness room so kids can come and get their needs met, and just be able to rest and take a 5 or 10 minute mental health break from the busyness of their day. Lots of ideas bouncing around between Jen and Molly and myself. I know Dr. Hirschi and Dr. Suter will shut us down a lot of the time, but some of those will sneak through. Collaboration with educational and student services professionals, so just working alongside teachers and the other staff to make sure that kids' needs are getting met, and referrals to and facilitation of social service resources provided on the campus. So that's kind of the burl. It's kind of the same. Some of these things are repetitive. I probably need to edit that and take that out. But my heart is to just support the students that I see come through the office on a daily basis, just so that they can feel cared for, feel seen, feel known, so that they can feel safe to go and learn and be a kid and just enjoy high school and not have to just have things in the way of them learning and doing what they need to do. So there's probably a whole lot more that I could say, but I'm going to stop and turn it back over to Dr. Suter.
All right, thank you, Joe. I don't shut down any of his ideas, so I don't know what he was talking about with that. Yeah, green light. So anyway, thank everybody for coming tonight. At the high school and in the district, we value direct communication. So any questions you ever have, our door is always open. Our phones are always on. And we're here to answer any questions you have. So thank you guys for coming tonight, and have a great evening.